I fell in love with a girl who never liked me back, and it led to a porn addiction that would almost ruin my entire life. Here is my story, and I hope all of the 14, 15 and 16-year-olds out there who want to achieve big things in life but can't stop watching porn can relate to me in this video. Also, if you watch to the end, I'm going to show you how you can actually quit watching porn. 2022, it's the start of my second year of middle school. I'm sitting in history class and I look across the room and I see this beautiful Asian girl with silky black hair. She had a cute smile and she reminded me of Lara Jean from this movie I watched when I was younger. The moment I set eyes on her, I felt aroused. I had never been aroused before, but I was aroused now. I don't know my potential yet, but we'll get to that. So me and this girl had an assignment to do for history together, and we needed a way to communicate after school. So I asked her for her Snapchat. She gives it to me, and we start texting each other every single day after school. But it wasn't about the assignment. You see, I only wanted to talk to this girl just so I could date her. So I'd usually come home from school, lie on my bed, and because I had nothing to do, I would be waiting for this girl to reply to my message, or go on YouTube and search up things I can say to this girl to make her like me. So I'd send her a text message, she'd reply back 30 minutes later. But something strange happened after a few weeks of us texting each other. She started texting me less. I'd send her a message and she'd reply back 1 hour later, 2 hours later. Now, because of all of the research I'd done, I found out that if a girl didn't respond to your message after a couple of hours, it meant that she wasn't attracted to you, she didn't like you. And this made me feel really anxious. And I started questioning myself. This led me to start obsessing over her, thinking about her every single day and night. This went on for days. She continued to reply back to me less and less until one day I just say fuck it, and I sent her a message that was my absolute downfall. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I asked her, do you like me? And she starts typing back immediately. Okay, this might be a good sign. I toss my phone on my bed and don't look at it for like an hour because part of me thinks she will reject me. But there's another part of me that believes she's fallen in love with me and she's been waiting to tell me she likes me back all this time, right? I grab my phone and I start reading. Hey Sadiq, I wanted to make sure you know that I don't like you. I don't know what my friends told you or if you got the wrong idea, but I wanted to make sure we're on the same page. That was my first heartbreak. It broke my heart completely. And ever since that event, it just brainwashed me into believing that I could not relate to anyone. And I was going to be alone forever. That I had no ability at getting girls and there was no point. So what does a 13-year-old do who gets rejected by a girl? He goes to something that allows him to escape. And for me, that was porn. But it wasn't on Pornhub yet. It all started on Snapchat Spotlight. This was like the gateway drug to the hard stuff, because a lot of the videos were girls showing their cherries and arms. So I'd scroll through these videos for hours every single day, especially because I couldn't get girls because I just didn't know how to talk to them. But I didn't care because watching those videos felt like heaven. And the more I watched it, the more I wanted to watch it. Fast forward a couple weeks later, I don't know how, but those videos on Snapchat leads me to discover Pornhub. I think it was when me and a couple of other friends, I wouldn't call them friends, I didn't really talk to them, but me and them were in the green screen room recording a video, and someone said to this other kid that I knew, do you watch Lana Rhoades? And they all started bursting out laughing. And I'm just sitting there in the corner of the room looking at them and I'm like, who the heck is Lana Rhoades? Ever since that event, everything went to, excuse my language, shit. Because of my curiosity to find out who Lana Rhoades was, I went home that day and searched her name up and I discovered her content. And I start watching her videos. Okay, this is more stimulating than Snapchat Spotlight. So I start watching it more and more. And it slowly grew into something I used to do at least 3 or 4 times a day. Once in the morning before I went to school, once after school, and once before I went to bed. I think it's around a year later, I graduate middle school with my friends. I had an amazing night and I won the Duke's Award at school, which is like the most prestigious award you could ever get. And I thought my life was complete when I won that award, because I had dedicated 3 years of my time in middle school obsessing over winning that award, and I got it. So I thought my life was complete. But at the back of my mind, I knew when all was said and done, I was still the guy watching porn every single day. So when I went home that day, I think it was during the holidays, my focus completely changed from focusing on being the best in school to just focusing on quitting porn forever. Fast forward into January the 31st. It's the day before my first day of high school. Now, I promised myself I will never watch porn again. Can you guess how long I lasted? Around 2 to 3 weeks. I couldn't handle the energy down there. This goes on for another year. Fast forward into 2025. And just about a month ago, I'm sitting on my bed one day and the sun has just gone down. And for some reason, I just start feeling really depressed and lonely. Same thing happens the next day, and I start thinking something must be wrong with me. And I'm sitting on my bed one day and it hits me. I'm going to be graduating high school in 600 days, and I might graduate broke and still addicted to porn. So I start thinking about my future, about how close I was to graduation. And instead of being excited, I was completely terrified. Because in that moment, I look back at the last 2 years of my life and realize that every day for the last 2 years of my life has been the same. I wake up, I go to school, I have some crush on a girl, I come home, I try to quit porn, I tell myself I'm never going back to it, I do it, end up watching it again. Then I start watching motivational videos late at night on YouTube, trying to feel good about myself, and promise I'll quit porn the next day. Then I go to bed, and it's just repeats. It's a cycle, it never ends. I realized if nothing changed that day, I'd be walking across the stage during my high school graduation the same person I was today. A loser who was addicted to porn. But not just that, a broke loser addicted to porn. And that, excuse my language, scared the shit out of me. It scared me enough to quit porn forever. And it's been a month since I've quit watching porn, and I can confidently say that I'm never going back to it. Now, that's not to say that I haven't had an urge. Trust me, there's been so many days where I've had huge urges to just go and watch porn, but I never went back to it. And in this video, I want to share with you how I was able to quit watching porn, the tactics I use, everything. So let's get straight into it. So first thing you have to understand, you need to have a reason, a why. He who has a why can handle almost any how. And I know you've heard that quote and you're probably like, oh, this is some crappy motivational advice. Let me explain it to you so you can understand. There was an experiment run where a rat had to run through a maze, and they were timing how fast the rat ran through the maze. The first trial they did, they put a cheese at the end of the maze and made the rat run through. They timed him, and the rat, he ran pretty fast. Now for the second trial, they put a cat at the start of the maze. No cheese at the end, just a cat at the start. The rat ran through pretty fast. You know what they did in the third trial? Put a cat at the start of the maze and a piece of cheese at the end of the maze. Timed how fast the rat ran through the maze and got to the end. That was the fastest trial. The rat ran the fastest when there was pain at the start and pleasure at the end. When you want to quit porn, you need to have a painful reason why you want to quit and a pleasurable lifestyle to strive towards, where quitting is the barrier towards that lifestyle. It's the thing stopping you to get to that pleasurable lifestyle. So here's the exercise I want you to do. Get a pen and a piece of paper. If you're not gonna do this, then you're never gonna quit. That's just a fact. Split the A4 piece of paper into two sides. On one side, write down at the top, pleasurable lifestyle. And right beside it, the question, what is my meaning of success? That pleasurable outcome is just success. And I realize while success is different for everyone, it comes under the same pillars. Success usually comes down to 4 pillars: health, relationships, freedom, and career. Health means, are you fat or do you have a six-pack? What is your, that's your physical health. What's your mental health? And what's your spiritual health? Write down, answer those questions, right? What is my physical health? What is my mental health like? Describe it. But that's health. Now, relationships. What sort of relationships do you want in the future? Paint the picture, okay? Relationships as in friends, family, and your girlfriend. What are those future relationships that you want? The third thing, freedom. What does freedom look like to you? Financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. Paint the picture. Where do you want to live? What type of things do you want to do on a daily basis? Go to a restaurant, don't look at the receipts stuff. And the most important thing, your career. What sort of career do you want? Do you want to be a rich entrepreneur, millionaire? Once you answer those questions and figure out what life looks like for you in health, relationships, freedom, and career, then you have a pleasurable lifestyle you can strive towards, right? So you know where you want to go. You need 2 whys specifically, a painful why and a pleasurable why. The painful why is, what will happen if you continue to watch porn? Answer that question. What will my life look like a couple years from now if I continue to watch porn? Describe it, paint the picture. What's your day-to-day life like? If you're watching this, you're in high school, right? So your painful why could be the fact that you're graduating high school in a couple of years. So if you don't quit porn before you graduate high school, then you're gonna be a high school graduate, you're gonna be broke, still addicted to porn. That was painful for me to realize. You can probably use it as a painful why as well. It can be anything, that painful why. Get a pen and a piece of paper. Once you have the pleasurable outcome, that success that you envision for yourself 2 to 10 years from now, and that painful outcome that you envision for yourself if you don't quit porn, it becomes way easier to quit. The second thing you need to do to quit porn is to remove your triggers. Let me give you an example. If you're someone who's addicted to drugs, you can come up with all of the whys, you can come up with all of those things, but if you still live in an environment where you have drugs, like in the kitchen, in the living room, you're not going to be able to quit because you have those triggers. It's so tempting, right? So remove the triggers. For everyone, those triggers are usually 2 things: social media and sugar. I want to quit porn because I don't want this painful future. You can come up with all of those reasons why, but if you still have all of those triggers close by, it's going to be so hard to resist the temptation to watch porn when it comes back, because it is going to come back. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it can only be transferred. That energy you feel down in your pants, that urge, it will never go away. You have to be able to transfer it, but before you transfer it, you have to remove the trigger that allows you to disperse that energy. Sugar, I don't know the science behind it, but I figured out that whenever I consume sugar, it just tricks my brain into making me feel an urge, right? So I feel like doing it because it feels, I have that urge down there. So cut out sugars, processed sugars, completely cut it out. You're gonna notice you're gonna be able to quit porn for weeks. The second thing, social media. Stop looking at that Instagram model. And I know you have it because you need to talk to your friends and you like scrolling. But if you need to talk to your friends that bad, just get their WhatsApp. Don't talk to them on Instagram, okay? Get their WhatsApp. Add all of your friends on WhatsApp and just disable your Instagram account so you don't need it anymore. Never use it again. So now you don't have Instagram. TikTok, bro, delete that shit. You don't need it. You don't need it. So I've just told you how to quit your trigger, social media, and how to quit this other trigger, sugar. Once you quit those two things, bro, you're gonna be able to quit watching porn for just forever. With those two whys, figuring out that painful outcome in the future that will happen if you don't quit porn, and figuring out that pleasurable outcome, that version of you that quits porn now and achieves success in the future, with those two whys is like 80% of how you're able to quit porn. The other 20% comes from removing the triggers, sugar and social media. I've just told you how to quit social media. To quit sugar, it's not that hard, just stop, right? And here's a bonus thing you can do to quit porn addiction. Stop counting the days. For me, counting the days would kill my confidence. Whenever I tried quitting porn, I could never make it past day 3. And a lot of it was because when I'd count the days I wasn't watching and I'd get to day 3, my brain would just tell itself, okay, you're up to day 3 now, you've never made it past this, you've never made it past day 3, now it's time to do it. Stop counting the days, because you've probably programmed your brain to think, okay, if I make it to day 3, then, I have to bust it. Stop counting the days. You're not someone who watches porn ever again. You need to adopt that identity. So guys, that is the end of this video. I've just told you how you can quit your porn addiction. And remember, you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Subscribe. Click on the next video.